20th pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Pittsburgh Steelers select Troy Fautanu, tackle, Washington.
Ladies and gentlemen, the pick is in and the Pittsburgh Steelers decide to go. Surprise, surprise, offensive line. Welcome back to the Friday edition here on Mic Drop Sports. I'm your host, Jason. Let's dive into this day of Steelers news after the first round of the 2024 NFL Draft, and the Pittsburgh Steelers, in my eyes, make a solid choice here with Troy Fautanu. Troy is a heat-seeking missile out there, playing for the Washington Huskies last year, a guy that blocked for Michael Penix Jr., really just a solid guy, the best player available at the time when the Pittsburgh Steelers selected at number 20 for the tackle position. He was the best one left. There was a major run last night. You saw tons of tackles going. Players that the Steelers were linked to, Mims, Fuaga, just several players just taken early and often at the tackle spot. And then you saw the Pittsburgh Steelers waiting patiently, having the chance to take anybody really at 20. They had their pick of several guys that they were tied to, a Quinyon Mitchell, a Cooper DeJean, big name receivers, and Brian Thomas Jr. They had many options, but yet the Pittsburgh Steelers chose to solidify their offensive line and give Arthur Smith a real dog at the tackle spot. I know some of you are saying that he's undersized. What, about a quarter, half inch, something like that? Really not that much of a size difference. Yes, he's a little underweight, but you'll see him still gain and pack on a few pounds here as he transitions into the NFL and still grows into his NFL body. So we'll see Troy get better as this goes on, in my eyes, physically. We'll see his size just continue to get a little bit bigger. Now, will he grow like a huge amount? No. He's about done growing in height-wise, but I'm thinking he'll fill out his body a little bit more with this NFL workout program and getting himself ready here. But this guy is a real dog. The Joe Moore Award given to that team last year, the Huskies offensive line, and that is a prestigious award, the best offensive line in the nation. This guy, he redshirted in 2019. He's an experienced ball player. He's played the tackle position many times. He has some flexibility going in and being able to play a little bit of guard also. So he is good in that aspect. Fills that little bit of a hole for the Steelers. So, yes, some are saying center. I don't think that to happen. So I think the Steelers will definitely get a center here in round 2. All the centers are still available for your Pittsburgh Steelers. So we'll see how that goes. Graham Barton was taken. That is the only one that is off the board that is considered to be a center prospect here in 2024. So the Steelers still have their pick of guys. They still have their pick of Van Pran, Zach Frazier, my favorite center in this draft, Jackson Powers Johnson, a guy that is really good, has some concussion concerns, but he is still yet available. Also, I think the Steelers are still going to have the opportunity to get a good wide receiver here in round 2 or 3. They will have the chance. There are still tons of players left. You saw the massive run on quarterbacks, which really disrupted this draft order last night. That really started to bring players that were once thought to be unobtainable for some, brought those players down farther, and really allowed some teams to get some really quality picks. When you saw a guy like Quinyon Mitchell going late in the 20s, it was a real shocker. A guy that I thought could go inside of the top 15. That was a real shocker to me. But you saw how this all unfolded last night. You saw what the Pittsburgh Steelers were able to do, and I think they have bookended their offensive line for many years to come, with the addition last year of one Broderick Jones, whom I firmly believe will slide over to that left tackle spot and be the Steelers franchise left tackle. And I think you're going to see Fautanu go to that right tackle spot and really solidify this and really bookend this offensive line. Now, if you look at what the Steelers could possibly do here, something really special, and that is create an absolute monster of an offensive line if they are able to get one of these top centers in my eyes. I think that this could be the beginning of something special and bring the Steelers back to having one of the top NFL offensive linemen or offensive lines, period. I think the Steelers definitely could do that and make that happen here. If you get a quality center, this offensive line could be special for many years and not cost you a monster amount of money, and that is something special to have. You'll see the Steelers here really bookend their offensive line, and that is something that the Steelers really needed to do, to be able to control the edges on the offensive line with some real dogs. And you look at the way Broderick played last year. He's really aggressive, really explosive, really good quick first step. And then you look at this year's selection in Fautanu, and you look at how he is really explosive, really quick first step, great leverage, a guy that has an excellent, outstanding base. That is pretty special to me, guys. His technique is awesome, and I think that really matches well with a guy like Broderick Jones. And then you look at the Steelers' tackles, James Daniels, Isaac Seumalo. Then you look at some of the guys that they have as backups right now. You'll have a Dan Moore Jr., you'll have a Dylan Cook, you will have a Spencer Anderson, you will have a Nate Herbig. I really think this offensive line will roll in next year and be pretty good. We'll see how this all goes, but this center position is going to be really, really important. Now, if the Steelers don't get a center, or is the whole thing blown up? I don't know. I think it's really imperative that they need to get a center, because I'm not down for the idea of sliding anybody over to there, sliding anybody into the center spot that hasn't really played there a ton. I want an experienced guy there, and I really feel like if you added a guy like a Zach Frazier, you do whatever's necessary to move up and get him if you have to. I think you could maybe wait until 51. You may be able to get a guy there, but I think Zach Frazier will go early. I think these centers that are remaining will go early and often. We'll see how this all goes. But if the Steelers get one of those guys, look how young they've become, guys. Look how truly young they've become all of a sudden, quickly, in a hurry, in the trenches. Now, yes, the trenches are where it all begins for me. That's where this game of football is won and lost, and that is inside these trenches. But what matters here now for the Pittsburgh Steelers is you have to get some weapons on the offensive side of the football, and that is something that has to become a priority. And I think here over the next 2 days, you need to figure out how you can draft at least one or two wide receivers that have some real upside, because you have George Pickens and maybe Calvin Austin. That's about your best options right now. And I think that you really have to figure this out. Now, is it a possibility the Steelers could still make a trade for a guy like a Brandon Ayuk or something like that? Absolutely. Is it possible they go out and get a Courtland Sutton? Absolutely, it's still possible. But I think those moves wouldn't happen until after the NFL draft is over, because I think the Steelers want to see how this all unfolds for them. They have some fifth-year options they're going to have to figure out, and I think the Steelers are just standing pat here and waiting to see exactly what kind of money they're going to need for their draft class, exactly what kind of money they're going to need to sign maybe a trade target, and whom they would have to restructure to make this cap space available to figure out the rest of this puzzle for 2024. But you look at that first-round pick last night, guys, and I got to admit, I wasn't super pumped up. It wasn't the splashiest move in the world that the Steelers could have made. I really wanted Quinyon Mitchell, but after I really thought about it and sat down and broke it down in my head, and I watched the tape of Fautanu, I really was impressed, and I really started to sway my decision there and really get excited for it. Did I hate the pick when it happened? Absolutely not. I thought it was a solid pick, but I just wasn't one of those ones I'm like, oh man, yeah. Well, I'm changing my mind there after I've looked at this guy a little bit more in depth and really just started to value his play and watching him out there on the edge, and how a guy's out of his range, he'll dive at you like a little missile, man, and bowl your ass over, you know. That's really cool for me. But this guy grew up a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. He tells a story about how he was a Troy Polamalu fan all his life, has a Troy Polamalu tattoo. And when he went to visit USC, they brought Troy in to meet Troy Fautanu. And that was really cool for him. So, he is a Steeler guy through and through. And I think that matters a lot. And I think he really impressed these guys in the interview process, being a solid young man, being a guy that really loves football, man. A guy that really, really, really wants to play the game at a high level. And that's what he cares about. And that is what his mission is. And I think that that's what you need to fill your building with. Guys that do those things, that feel like that. But we talked about some of his strengths last night, some of his weaknesses. Weaknesses, maybe longer opponents gain extension and rid him of blocking that he is sustaining. That doesn't allow him to sustain those blocks. His run blocking technique eventually gets away from him sometimes, but there's a strength there too. Also, he is able to make that initial contact on level 2 or in level 2 as he's moving down the field. And he has one of the rare abilities at offensive line that you could really be cool with and comfortable with. And that is the ability to sometimes get to a third level and pick up another block. He is that athletic. He is that explosive. So that's something, if you're an Arthur Smith type guy, to really want this run game to get moving, that you can really get Fautanu out on the move, out in front of your runners to really create some serious running lanes for your running backs here in 2024, which is awesome. He has a little bit of hand slippage issues and inconsistency with his placement, but all in all, his form, his base, his leverage are damn near perfect and solid, in my opinion, when I see him on the tape. The tape doesn't lie. Maybe his hands will slip here and there, but that's kind of any of those tackles. They have that kind of issue here and there, so I'm not calling it a major move, or a major problem. I think he'll be okay with that. He's slow to fire his pass punch, rarely closes the rusher down with his hand latch. I don't know if I buy that one right there, because I've really saw him have fast hands, especially in the past game. I thought that his punch was really quick, at least from what I saw on tape last night. They say he gets beaten inside, but if you look at this tape of Fautanu, you see him be athletic enough to be able to make a wrong decision by turning a different way. Looks like he's going to be beaten. He is able to come back and flip around again, and athletic enough to get back on that block. And in the NFL, it's all about getting a hat on a hat and giving that quarterback that split second. Things are a little bit different, and I think that Fautanu can do that. I think he has the ability to be able to be athletic enough to slow down these guys just enough to be able to allow a quarterback just that time, or that split second timing, to be able to make those decisions that are needed to be made here at the NFL level. And I think he will really, really, really translate into a quality NFL tackle here in the future. And what does this mean for Dan Moore? I don't think it means much. I think he's going to have to come into camp and battle, and he's going to have to battle this young guy, and he's going to have to battle Broderick Jones, and you're going to see these guys really go to war here inside of rookie mini camps. You're going to see these guys go to Latrobe and really, really battle, and I look for Fautanu to be a guy that is a starter at some point in the 2024 season. We'll see how this goes. Does he maybe necessarily start out as a starter? I don't know. We know how the Steelers are with their rookies, so we'll see how this goes. But today, the draft starts again. 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It'll start during the show here on Steel City Live, only on Mike Drop Sports. So we will be live when that starts, and we'll get to break down a little bit about how the Pittsburgh Steelers continue to move here and what they do next, how they continue to fill out this offense, and maybe get another cornerback, maybe play around on the defensive line. This could really become interesting, and we'll see what the con artist has here in store for us here, all in Steeler Nation, and how this all unfolds. So this is going to be a really special day. I really think that this is going to be another fun one, and I thought it was fun last night how this all went down. And I thank you all for coming and watching our live draft party show. We went for about 2 hours or so, a little over. which was the longest live show we've ever done here on the channel. So we'll do another one tonight, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Steel City Live. Don't forget, and we'll be live when the draft starts to kick off. So we'll see how this goes tonight, and maybe we'll have some exciting news while we're on the live stream. All right, guys, let's wrap it up. This is a Friday edition of the show here on Mic Drop Sports. I really appreciate it, man. The support has been overwhelming, man. Really humbling. We are like 95 subscribers away from hitting that 3,000 subscriber mark. I never thought that that would be a realization whenever I started this channel. Never thought that that would happen. So I really want to thank you guys for that. Also, we had our giveaway last night. One of our loyal listeners, D won the prize from last month. Don't forget to get in that Mic Drop Mafia membership. It's 99 cents a month, and you have a chance to win some cool prizes and be a part of the coolest community on YouTube, man. And that's part of the Mic Drop Mafia, man. I think it's a solid thing, man. 99 cents a month, and you get a chance to do some special stuff, man. So we'll see how this goes, and we'll see how this all unfolds this weekend. But man, has it been a hell of a ride on the channel, and we are going to continue to push forward. So until tonight, guys, at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the show Steel City Live. This is Mic Drop Sports. I'm Jason. Peace.